One of the things that you say is that it's possible for anyone, no matter their current financial status, to live with more ease in their relationship with money. If you can talk to us a little bit about what this means and what does this look like for someone in a challenging financial situation?
There are only two problems with money, if we have any. One, you're making too little. Two, you're spending too much. And for most people who are having a hard time financially, they have both problems. If you have a hard time making both ends meet, it's probably you're not making enough money. You're working in a bad environment that you're not shining, and also because of the stress, you must be spending more than you should. So you have to be in charge of making money part, and also you have to be in charge of spending less part. So you have to find a good job that suits for your needs and also your talents. And at the same time, you have to start spending less because you tend to buy something that it doesn't serve you. A lot of people who go to dollar shop, they don't have money, but by just buying like 12 items, you feel like, oh, I'm wealthy, and then they're not gonna use them up anyway. So that's why anybody can change their financial status, but at the same time, you have to really confront yourself. It's like weight issues too. You didn't get fat in overnight. Because of the your eating habits and exercises, you are where you are. So you have to sort of like scale yourself, right? You have to measure how heavy you are. It's scary. You don't want to touch the little guy. You don't want to, stand on it. So you have to really confront yourself. But with money, if you want to turn things around, you have to really confront yourself. And that it's usually uncomfortable,
Yeah.
sometimes scary.
Absolutely. And I see a lot of people being scared of looking at those numbers. And I always tell them it's you need to know instead of guessing. Because sometimes I see two things happen.
Hmm.
In my experience, when I've coached clients, I've seen two things happen. One, well, they don't know exactly like what they have,
Hmm.
like whether
Hmm.
after the bills are paid, everything's are
Yes.
paid, they don't know what's left or if
Uh-huh.
they've overspent, but they automatically assume it's bad. But
Yeah.
if they know that they're in the positive 50, $100 or $5,
Yes.
whatever it is, you need to know whether it's in the positive, in the negative to make better financial decisions. Because some people I have found that they were in the positive a couple $100. They didn't know that. And they could have been used, but you know what happens when there's unaccounted money for and that you just automatically spend it
Yeah.
because you're not tracking it. And so I agree, you definitely need to confront yourself and really not be afraid of the numbers because they're numbers and you need to know those tangible numbers. So I'm glad you shared that.
Yes. And also, Jana, as you exactly said, it's just the numbers, but we have so much emotions around it.
Yes.
So that is a tricky part, and that's my specialty. We associate money with emotion, so that's
Yes.
why you need to heal them. I'm often called a money healer because I deal with money pains and money traumas in the past. Because where you are financially is because of what happened in your childhood. The way you reacted. Like say when you grew up in a family where you didn't have much money, you became a spender because by spending money, you feel you are in control. And then some people became over earner, overachiever. So they make more money, more money, more money. So one day I'm okay. And also there are savers, who want to save, 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 so they feel secure. But life is supposed to be fun. But you have to find a balance. If you become a spender whose life mission and motto is, life is short. You have to start enjoying it. Fear of missing out is what they written on their tattoos. And then if you are savers, you think the world is scary, so I should have some money for security. But life is to be enjoyed, so you have to find a balance for you.
And for people that say, what is, does balance really exist? Right?
Hmm.
There's people that like balance doesn't exist.
Hmm.
What do you say to people that question that? Because it is hard to find that balance. It's hard to, because I was the one that grew up, I was the extreme saver so
Hmm.
much that I was extremely frugal and I didn't enjoy the money for a while because I felt like I needed that security,
Yeah,
as you
so you know
mentioned.
you know how it feels, right?
Yes,
Yes, I saw
absolutely.
frugalist as a word in your resume, and I thought it just made me smile. I didn't know if there's a word frugalist.
I don't know if that actually exists. Sometimes I tend to make up words, so
That's
you might
beautiful.
have to check on the dictionary if it's a real
And I
world
think,
word.
it's interesting, because even if you're born and brought up in the same household, you may become frugalist, but your sister may have become a spender.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating how we become who we are.
Yeah. So in terms of finding that balance, how do you suggest for those that like there's really balance doesn't exist. How do you suggest for people to
Yeah.
find that balance?
So, there's good news and bad news. I think the news is the same. Partnership is the key. Friendship is a key. It's interesting. It's almost like God made us this way, but the opposite money types are attracted to one another. It's a law of attraction. So if you want to be if you're more spender type, you are attracted to a saver type or money maker type. And the reason is that if you're a saver, you need to have somebody who support the money.
Mm.
And if you are just into money making or saving, you need a coach who show you how to enjoy life. So they are attracted to one another. So you can learn from your partner. But after 4 or 5 years, you start thinking, if my wife keeps spending that, at this rate, I'll go bankrupt in 5 years. And the other side would say, my husband or my wife is so boring. All he talks about is money making or work. Life is supposed to be enjoyed, not for work. So that's the reason that they get separated. But if you can learn from your partner who is on the other side, he or she is a teacher. If you're a saver type, you have to start spending more so you can enjoy life. And if you're a spender, if you spend every penny you make or even borrow money on credit card and then keep spending, you have to learn to save. You have to cut down the spending habits, and you can learn from your partner.
That makes sense. So basically, essentially, when you're looking for balance, what you're saying is you lean on someone who is maybe doing the opposite and learning
Hmm.
from them. I really
Yeah.
like that. I really like how you answered that question because it makes sense. We learn. Everybody has had a different upbringing. Even if you're, even with your sibling that you had the same upbringing,
Yeah.
you perceive some things
Hmm.
differently, right?
Yeah.
So therefore how you see money and other things in life is completely different, even from people in the same household. So I really like that. I really like that. That made me think here.